Hello everyone, this is me, Mengudai Karışkır here, and I'm currently situated and located in my old hometown in Mediasch, and I am actually surrounded by walls, metaphorically speaking, but not only. I'm surrounded by these medieval walls, and these are the medieval walls of the old town of Mediasch, and I am actually at the museum today because I wanted to look inside the museum again after maybe 15 years since I've been here last time, if with our new mind and new understanding of history, if we can actually find something that is related to the Mongols and to other Turkic tribes that have been here in Transylvania. I'm also mentioning Mediasch as an important location when it comes to Mongols, because this city and Transylvania especially has been attacked by the Mongols in the mid 13th century, and there is a high probability that we might find something, maybe armor, maybe arrow tips, maybe a sword, maybe something related to the Mongols. And also what I want to say is that this city, Mediasch, has been utterly destroyed and torched down by the Mongols, as they usually do. And this area of Transylvania has actually been one of the frontiers of the Balkans that held the Mongols at bay, and this is where the Mongols have fought against the Hungarians. But this is something that we're going to discuss in another time. Maybe this is worth posting in another video. Let's take another look around, and then we're gonna go inside.
All right, so the first things that we found in this exhibition were tools and stone tools from the Neolithic age. As you can see in this picture, we can see lots of axe heads and hammer heads from this era and some pottery. There was also like a big pot that was reconstructed and other small tools which were knapped from stone. And as we went through the museum, we went from the Neolithic era to the Copper Age and then to the Bronze Age. As you can see in this picture, these were my favorite objects from the Bronze and Copper Age, these axe heads. Very interesting to see the typical shape of the axe heads. They were not, they didn't have the hole in the middle, and there are some videos out there explaining why it was like that. And quite a lot of tools from this period, especially attributed to the Hallstatt civilization or culture, how to say, and other objects like lots of pots, but also lots of spearheads that you could find in there. Also, the thing that I really enjoyed about the museum was the fact that there were many maps, and most of the maps were hand drawn, and that was actually beautiful. The fact that most of the maps were drawn by hand and very, very detailed, and you cannot really find these maps anywhere online. So this was one of the biggest finds. Unfortunately, most of the arrowheads or other weapons or other tools that we found were actually from the Bronze Age or Iron Age. Here we can also see a very detailed map of the Dacian kingdom during the times of Burebista. So I'm actually zooming in on the area where I live in. So this is very close to the capital, Sarmisegetusa, and you could see that there were many, many villages. And also many bronze jewelry or bronze tools or other artifacts that belong to the Dacians. So most of the artifacts that I found from the Bronze Age or the Iron Age were either from the Dacians or from the Romans. So 90% of the stuff belonged to the Dacians or Romans, so to either of them. Although you will later see during this video on the maps that not only these two cultures or civilizations clashed in this area, and my initial thought was actually to look for Hunnic artifacts, iron heads, Mongol artifacts or iron heads or weapons or any other tools that would kind of show that the Mongols were here, or Avars or Huns during the late antiquity period. But unfortunately, we didn't find anything in that sense. Most of the stuff that we found belonged to the Bronze Age, Iron Age, so to antiquity. And yeah, you will see that from that period, we're actually going directly towards the Middle Ages. So we're just jumping 1000 years from one room to the other. So no artifacts from the cultures that we were actually looking for, which is very interesting. We know. Of course, we also have to be aware of the fact that after the fall of the Roman Empire, there was a period that was called the Dark Ages. So, not many records have been kept. And that was also a period of strong transition and lots of change. As you can see in this map, which is also a very good map that I found, this map shows the traveling routes of the Huns, of the Avars, of the Pechenegs, of the Magyars, and of the Visigoths through Transylvania. So we can see these areas were intensely circulated. This map shows the coins that have been found belonging to the Byzantine Empire. And yeah, these are actually the first documents that attested Mediasch on the map, which is the 12th century. And another map that I found very interesting was this map that shows the voivodeships that existed in the area of Transylvania during the Middle Ages from the 9th century to the 11th or 12th centuries. These were actually small voivodeships or knezats, how they're called in Romanian, which belonged to a warlord and consisted of a few villages. And after that, we are already going to the late Middle Ages. You can see a Genoese shield. You can see a kettle helmet and an Ottoman helmet. The first one that I showed was an Ottoman helmet. And another object that I found very interesting was this bow. This is definitely an Ottoman or an Indian war bow. As you can see, unfortunately, it was cracked in the middle. I actually mentioned that this is not tensioned correctly, that it's not stringed correctly, and they were aware of this fact. But unfortunately, this bow had a crack in the middle, so it's actually very dangerous to try to string it. Of course, we also found other items, and one of the very interesting things that I found was this map of Mediasch in the middle of the room. And this is around the 14th, 15th century. So the city and most of the cities in Transylvania were actually rebuilt after the attack of the Mongols. So, of course, the Mongols never returned to Transylvania or Europe in history. But the fact that Transylvanians have built these heavy fortifications has proven to be useful in the 16th century when Hungary, to which also Transylvania belonged, started to get attacked by the Ottomans. And the Ottomans have actually raised and plowed through Transylvania as the Mongols did a few hundred years prior to that. So these defenses and these defensive structures have actually proven to be very useful in defending Transylvania. Another interesting map, and I didn't expect anything else, was this map of the first Romanian kingdom, which included all three regions of Transylvania, Moldova, and Wallachia. A unification that was made by Mihai the Brave in the 1600s, in the year 1600, and the decisive victory that he made actually took place in the city where I live now, in Hermannstadt. And that's also something we can go and explore. Um, Maybe this episode of Mihai the Brave deserves another video in itself. Despite not finding anything directly related to Mongols or any other nomadic tribes such as the Huns or Avars, we actually found the effect of these invasions in the heavy fortifications such as the city of Mediasch and many other cities and villages around Mediasch and around the major cities of Transylvania. I am by no means an expert in history, but I'm very fascinated by it because I've been playing games like Age of Empires for such a long time, and there is no way you don't get fascinated by history, especially if you live on a gold mine of history, such as I do here in Romania. And I do believe that Transylvania has a very, very rich history that is often overlooked. And maybe if you're looking through YouTube, you will not see many videos related to the deep history of Transylvania. So we can safely say that many empires have flourished in this area. And the last empire was the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the first one was the Roman Empire that was very interested in this region. And also, revisiting this museum has opened my eyes to what I actually want to do with this channel and what I want to show you guys. So if you're also interested in history and like this kind of stuff, then join me on this adventure. I'm going to try to go out as often as possible and try to record the videos in this kind of format. I'm also working on my editing skills and my narration skills, so yeah, bear with me as we go along and ride along in Transylvania. I hope you like this video, and I also hope that we're going to see each other in the next one. So stay tuned. Goodbye.